Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 1Game1Life. My name is Typo, and this is Dragon Age Origins Part 8. And I had a good laugh when I first brought this up, because it says Physical Resistance Check 1. Armor 1. Yeah, our character is not ready to get hit at all. Luckily, we have Alistair, who is. Even Morrigan has a 6 resistance check, but she also has 1 armor, so Morrigan and I... not designed for taking hits at all. For now. I do plan on being able to take hits eventually. Okay, so she looks like she's set to go, actually. I could add 6 defense, but... she gets plus 10% cold damage, which is good. So her spells that she has... she has Winter's Grasp like us. I'll probably put that on 2 so that they're on the same button for both of us. She has Drain Life, which is basically her version of Arcane Bolt. Disorient we'll never use. I can get rid of that. Vulnerability Hex we'll never use, so we can get rid of that. We'll never use Spider Shape, but here it is if you want to see it. Yeah. It's terrifying. So she can be a spider, and then she gets 2 moves, Poison Spit and Web. Web is like a snare. It kind of like, it snares them in place for a short time. And then Poison Spit obviously just does damage and attempts to poison them. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. But we're never going to use that. It takes permanent mana up and gets rid of all of her other really good abilities. So, goodbye Spider Shape. Horror. It stuns them if they don't pass a mental check, so I guess I'll keep that. Mind Blast on 4. Oh, we have Mind Blast on 7. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Lightning will be good to have. Frost weapons, we could put that on her, but, because we don't want to be using it on us. We could take that off.
What?
Let's go ahead and put the poultices on her. Here's the Lesser Lyrium and the Lyrium potions. And then here's Lesser Health Poultice and Health Poultice. Did I do that the same direction we did over here? Yeah, basically. And I'll save the Greater Lyrium Potion for us. That'll be good. Herbalism. We can do that. We don't need her to do that. Alright, I guess these are our abilities. So she has Drain Life, where she does some damage and heals herself. Winter's Grasp. Lightning does damage. Horror is a stun. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and get to it. Alistair has Shield Bash and Shield Pummel. Those are his moves. He knocks things over and he stuns them. He also has stances like Shield Cover, where he can protect from missiles, and Shield Defense, where he's good against melee or whatever. Let's gather the party and venture forth. We're ready to continue. Let's go to Lothering. Look at all these locations for us to go to. Brazilian Outskirts, Redcliffe Village, Castle, and so many other places. That's the DLC place. And then there's the party camp. Yeah, let's go to the party camp. Let's show what we have here. And we can talk to our companions here. There's oh, never mind. We don't have something pretty vital, but let's talk real quick.
What do you need?
You want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
I just thought you might need to talk.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
Yes, that is stupid. You'd be dead. No, I understand completely.
Of course. I'd be dead then, wouldn't I? It's not like that would make him happier. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
No, not really. Not since I went to the tower. That's the truth.
That must have felt a lot like when I got sent to the Chantry. You mages don't even get a say in the matter after all. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime, Alistair. Yes, well, just don't tell anyone. Maybe I'll go to High Ever with you when you go. He's a friend of mine too. Let's get going. Anytime, Alistair. So +4 approval. So that puts him at 8. Higher approval from your companions will give them higher stats and new dialogue and all that good stuff. So even though our character Traven is going to be maybe ends justify the means, maybe, because I do like to play villains on this channel, even though we can't be a villain in Dragon Age Origins, but you know what I'm saying. It's good to make sure your companions know that you care about them and understand them. What can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So couldn't others learn these talents? That is pretty cool.
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together.
Wow. It sounds like an excellent method of control.
You think so, huh? You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templars' talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that.
Right.
The Chantry usually doesn't let
I might
the
have ticked him off
Templars
here.
get away
My bad.
either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Oh, we took a huge disapproval hit there. I messed up. Man, I messed up bad. I didn't mean it like that, Alistair. And as you can see, sometimes you can mess up. That's not what I meant. I meant it in like a scathing remark kind of way, not like a, oh yes, I like it. Damn. Sometimes dialogue just doesn't play out the way you think it does. Like it has different inflections than you intended. Can you teach others to be a Templar?
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not.
Man, that -10 sucked.
When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well, I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
+1.
What do you
We're
need?
still in the negative, though. Damn.
Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Wow, there's a lot to say, actually. Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
Wasn't that nice? So what happens now that there's just 2 of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
The story and the world of Dragon Age is just so in-depth. I love it. Well, we need to start rebuilding the Order.
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
Right. I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need? Ask away.
How did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Haha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
What skills might those be? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't an easy life, you know. I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but I'm not exactly the Chantry type. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
After all that, Alistair, I believe we're at 0 because of that -10 we hit. God dang it. But it is, I really like that we're meeting the characters and fleshing them out before we go on our adventure here.
Ask away.
Really know who we're with here. So you said this Arl Eamon raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Really? That must have been tough for them.
Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot.
That's what they say about Anders. Who is Anders? And these dogs sold you to the Chantry, I take it.
Oh, there you go, listening to me again. You'd think you'd have gotten past that already. I ended up in the Chantry, sure, but I didn't start there. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arl Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
But you blamed him then, I take it?
I was young and resentful and not very pious. Of course I blamed him. I remember screaming at him like a little child. Well, I was a child, so I doubt he was surprised. Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed.
Right.
The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10. Just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
That's tough. Was it inappropriate for the Arl to raise an orphan? What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Isle came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did.
Good.
Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
+3. Well, we're in the positive. It's not where we wanted to be. That -10 really killed us, but we learned a lot about Alistair, and now we know more about what makes him tick. Let's go learn about Morrigan, because we know almost nothing about Morrigan.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
How'd you become a shape changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother's been doing this for a long time, then?
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
That would be pretty wild if she could. Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. Indeed, you could learn the spells required if I cared to teach you.
I don't care to. Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
This is pretty cool. And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I'm shocked that you think so. Being a mage of the circle as you were. But perhaps you felt a little like a caged bird as well, caught within that dark tower.
Yes, very much so.
I thought so.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful. Does seem revolting, tied to a flagpole and tickled. What the heck? I think your abilities sound quite useful.
Oh, you're simply full of surprises, little man, aren't you? But enough of such talk. Let us
Little
proceed,
man.
lest the dust gather on us.
Oh, she hit us with the we're an elf, so we're short. That's tough. Damn. Where are we at with Morgan, by the way? Plus 11. That's going a lot better.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
So, did you grow up in the Korkari wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Wow, she went aggressive on that. You can probe me anytime. Whoa. I'm curious what's wrong with that. You can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remained unnoticed.
For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. Sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
I'm supposed to be surprised you're a good liar? No. That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and
Do they
patted
believe
my
that?
eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
I have no idea. I'm not human. Were you upset by all the bad touching? Touching like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
She has a lot of expressions, doesn't she?
Yes?
+8 for that conversation. Wow. I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
I'm glad you think so. You don't have to answer if you don't want it. And you're cute when you're evasive.
Really? Perhaps we should be wrapped in ribbons and adorned with flowers. So cute are we, too. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
I feel sorry for the Templars. You really had no trouble? I feel sorry for the Templars.
They came with as much swagger and arrogance as they did self-righteousness. Pity them if you wish, for they held none for us. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Wow. Did you actually kill them all?
Me? No, I never did any of the killing until later. And even then, Flemeth was a glutton for that sort of thing.
God
Thankfully,
dang.
the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
I guess they were hunting them, but the fact that Flemeth is a glutton for that kind of thing is concerning. I'm gonna say they got what they deserved because it's what she's gonna want to hear.
Perhaps they did. Still, I do not begrudge them doing what they believe is necessary. The Chantry sees any mages not leashed to the Circle of Magi as apostates. And apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true. Still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit.
Alright. I agree completely.
An interesting answer for a mage. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Alright.
Yes?
I just like
If you must.
that these feel like real people. You know what I mean? Like, Alistair feels like a person. Like, he's got a backstory, he's got a personality, he's got everything that makes a person, and Morrigan does too. So far, the characters are great. Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
Human?
Oh, she certainly was human. Once. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I'm more interested in the truth.
I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Okay, yes, I've heard this part.
The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
Oh boy. Osen, what are you doing? Seems like a fair deal. What? He sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All
What?
would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
So she truly loved Osen then?
That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas
Okay.
they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see.
Came later.
Chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Cormac. Which? She never invaded or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
Huh. So history is muddled by the victors, just like in the real world. Do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
How is it that Flemeth has survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Right. Damn. The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters?
You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
The way she just drops that so casually. An interesting story, thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
She's curious something about us. Alright, here's a flip on the script. There's nothing really to say about her. Keep your curiosity to yourself. I love her. What else do you want to know? There's nothing really to say about her.
I see. I find myself a little envious, to tell the truth. But it matters not. Let us move on.
Minor magic. Party approval. When your party members begin to genuinely like you and respect your leadership, they get new abilities or skills. So, we got Morrigan to plus 25 and approval. She's interested? She's interested. What kind of interest? Like, interested, or just she's interested? If you know what I'm saying. But either way, she has plus 4. She has a little bit of extra magic now from our relationship. She has minor magic. Where would I find that? Here we go. Inspired minor magic. Inspired by your leadership, this party member has gained a minor bonus to magic. Hell yeah.
Yes? If you must.
I think... Okay, never mind. So, this is the last thing for us to discuss with Morrigan. So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
That does sound wonderful. I don't want that to be the only way I could seek companionship and speak, but that does sound like a really cool experience.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. It was encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
A little girl seeing what is the closest thing she's ever seen to a princess for the first time, with wealth and gems and all that? I bet. I can't imagine Flemeth was pleased.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
I have a hard time picturing you heartbroken. That might come off the wrong way, just like the excellent means of control did with Alistair. Sure.
That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today.
I'd say all those things have meaning.
They might have been.
I think everything she just listed had meaning. I don't think it's a selective thing like that. Feel sorry for you, but you don't need to live that way any longer. That made you stronger, didn't you? Didn't they? And those are harsh lessons to teach a child. They made you stronger, didn't they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
I think that's everything she had to talk about.
So, full of questions, are you?
Tell me, are you really Flemeth's daughter? Oh, we have something new.
I assume you were actually asking whether Flemeth herself gave birth to me. Truly, I do not know. I once asked Flemeth that very question, and she merely laughed at me. 'Tis not inconceivable that she could capture a chastened man, or perhaps change to a more attractive form to attract him willingly. I find it more difficult to imagine her with child.
Okay. Could she have stolen you as a child?
It seems likely, does it not? In an animal form, a babe could easily be spirited away and raised as Flemeth's own. I do know the tales of Flemeth having many daughters, even though I have never met another. And Flemeth has always treated me as her blood.
She doesn't see, what if you have real family out there? Cozy family of abominations and apostates. Sounds lovely. What a dick move that would be. Does that mean you love her?
What an odd thing to say. Why must love enter into the equation? Flemeth taught me everything I needed to learn. How to survive, the meaning of power, the truth of men. If other mothers do not teach these things, then I believe them the lesser.
Okay. What does the truth of men mean? Is there no place for nurturing and love? Tell me, okay, how to survive? Important. Meaning of power? Important. Truth of men? I suppose that's true?
You suppose it's true? 'Tis true. Take yourself. You do not honestly desire such things from me, do you? 'Tis better to be free of such cloying and cluttering delusions as love.
And what if I did want that?
Then more the fool you, I think. I tire of this discussion. Let us move on, shall we?
Okay, +2, sure. Alright, so that's Alistair and Morrigan. Those are our party members right now. I'm really looking forward to this whole campsite fleshing out with more and more companions as we learn about them as well. Alistair, I'm really sorry that we got you to +1 because +3 because I murdered that one conversation with a -10. That sucks. Morgan's all the way up to 32 and she's interested. So we need to work on Alistair's relationship with us for sure, but it's looking good with Morrigan for now. Let me save in case... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they have to come with us. So this is the party selection screen. Yeah. I forget she's level 7. Let's go to Lothering, a small town north of us.
And I expect each of you to supply these men. We must rebuild what was lost at Ostagar, and quickly. There are those who would take advantage of our weakened state if we let them. We must defeat this Darkspawn incursion, but we must do so sensibly and without hesitation.
Your lordship, if I might speak. You have declared yourself Queen Honora's regent and claim we must unite under your banner for our own good. But what of the army lost at Ostagar? Your withdrawal was most fortuitous.
Oh, I like this guy.
Everything I have done has been to secure Ferelden's independence. I have not shirked my duty to the throne, and neither will any of you!
The Banon will not bow to you simply because you demand it.
Understand this. I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone.
Loghain out here making enemies.
Bantegan, please!
Your Majesty, your father risks civil war. If Eamon were here...
Bantegan, my father is doing what is best.
Did he also do what was best for your husband, your Majesty?
Go! God damn! Oh my god! You can see that hit her so hard. Oh my god, Bantegan. You can't say that. You can't say that. Jesus God. No mercy.
Wake up, gentlemen. More travelers to attend to. Led by an elf, of all things.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers.
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Hell
How
yeah.
is that any way to greet someone?
Look how short we are.
A simple 10 silvers and you're free to move on.
10 silvers and we're free to move on. You're toll collectors then.
Indeed, for the upkeep of the Imperial Highway. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Perhaps you should charge more then.
You want to pay more? Well, we'll happily accept donations.
I'm just saying it's rough business for such a pittance.
I could be mistaken, but that sounded threatening.
Sounded like a threat to me.
Interesting, because you seem a bit outnumbered.
It's hard to be outnumbered by common thugs.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear that. We have rules, you know.
Right. We get to ransack your corpse then. Those are the rules.
You can we could intimidate them, but nah, I want to kill them. Make the world a better place, you know? This, I feel like we're playing a kind of character here where the ends justify the means. If we gotta kill some people to make the world a better place, I just think that's a good thing to do. You can certainly try.
Well, this is going nowhere. Let's finish this, gents.
Yeah!
All right, let's make the world a better place, everybody. All right, bandits in the back. Let's use a crushing prison there. Shatter him. He resisted it? Really? That's shocking, actually. Alright. That should take out these guys pretty fast. Alright, force field on the leader. I don't want him doing anything. Morrigan. Drain life on this guy.
Victory shall be mine.
There we go. Winter's grasp.
It's either you or me.
We're out of magic. That's not good. Shield pummel. Alistair. Stun the man. Alright, he's done. Then we get this guy. Alright, and now it's just the bandit leader left. And he's on us for some reason. Oh god, he hurts. We're about to get pummeled. Poultice. I wanted to heal, but we didn't have enough time. Winter's grasp, lightning, drain life. Yeah, we're lighting out the damage now. Get him.
All right. We surrender. We're just trying to get by. before the darkspawn get us all.
You're the last one alive, bro. Get by, you're a criminal.
Yes, I'm a criminal. I admit it. I apologize.
Now you die, that's all you deserve.
I'm not going down without a fight.
I did see we could recruit him there, but I don't think that would have happened. It's bandit leader. No shot. Nice fight. Good job, everybody. We made the world a better place. Knight's Locket and Knight's Note. Ooh. Large, clear lightning crystal and a sapphire. Lesser health poultice. A note from Sir Henrik in the Codex. Codex. Guess not. Lesser health poultice, 2 trap triggers. 2 trap triggers, studded leather helm. That's nice down there. Huh. Alright, and we will be tackling Lothering next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. And if you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing. But either way, thank you so much for joining Traven, Morrigan, and Alistair and I on this journey in Dragon Age Origins. And we will see all of you for Lothering next time.